Okay guys, having taught you about the rook and the bishop, logically it makes sense to teach you about the queen next, because the queen is just the bishop and the rook together in one very powerful piece. So, just a quick recap. The rook moves left and right, up and down. The bishop moves diagonally. The bishop is not allowed to move like a rook, and the rook is not allowed to move like a bishop. But the queen can do both, and that's why it's so powerful. So the queen can go left and right, up and down, and diagonal. And this makes the queen the most mobile piece. Okay, it controls the most squares. In fact, if we just take the pawns off for a second, and just have one queen on the board, from the middle of the board, this pawn can capture all of these pieces that I'm putting down. Sorry, I'll put black pawns down, that makes more sense. All of these black pawns that I'm placing on the board are within the queen's range. Okay. There's actually one more. So it's still possible for the queen to take all these pieces because it can move any number of squares. But just like any other piece in chess, the queen cannot jump. So if this were its own piece, the queen cannot get to this square because the queen can't jump. Okay? But if it's the opponent's piece, the queen can take it. Okay? Now, I can put these pawns back onto the board, and if I was to change this piece to let's say a rook, well, now the rook cannot take this piece because it cannot move diagonally, so it cannot take these pieces. So now you can sort of see the difference between the queen and the rook. The queen is that much more powerful that it can also do the diagonal motion. Once again, if I was to swap this to a bishop, then the bishop cannot access any of these pawns currently on the board because it cannot move like that, but it can do the diagonal ones. So yeah, the queen is simply bishop plus rook, and I think that's pretty simple. If you understand bishop and rook, you'll get it. Okay, on to the next one.